conference kind of last minute like this on a Friday night unless it was something really, really substantial. And so what I am announcing today is actually some very good news on a Friday. This is a substantial win and something that we have been hoping for and waiting on for quite some time now. So what I'm announcing today is that we have received official notification that FEMA has granted the City of New Orleans its JIRR extension into 2028. The end date now for our extension would now be June 2nd, 2028. This is really fantastic because, as you all know, the current extension which we had ended on June 30th. And there was no way that we would have been able to, of course, complete the roughly $500 million projects that are still either underway or in the queue by June 30th. June 2nd of 2028, that extension will now allow us the ability to continue these projects and to bring them all to completion. So lots of people to thank here. First and foremost, Steve Nelson, who leads up our infrastructure team for the City of New Orleans. He has been so incredibly diligent, his entire team working closely with FEMA, with the regional folks, with GOSEP as well, making sure that they were meeting all of the reporting guidelines that they needed to follow, and then just staying very close on the oversight of all of these projects, ensuring that the projects were much better coordinated than ever before. And I can tell you that on the last call that I was on with all of the FEMA headquarters folks, which was about 2 weeks ago, I can tell you that they were very impressed by the work by the City of New Orleans. Others to thank, of course, as I mentioned already, Steve, and I do need to mention the folks at FEMA from headquarters to Region 6, the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Preparedness, Governor Landry, Congressman Carter, our congressman who advocated for this so vigorously, Congressman Scalise also very much in support of this and worked hard to ensure that we got this done. And then someone who really, I think, got this over the finish line and took this all the way to the White House and alerted the President of the United States of the importance of this is Mrs. Gail Benson. I actually had a conversation with Mrs. Benson about the importance of these projects, and she too saw the necessity to ensure that we had the ability to complete these projects. I want to remind everyone that these are settlement dollars. So these are essentially our dollars. We just needed more time to be able to spend these dollars and to be able to finish these projects. And so Mrs. Benson ended up reaching out to the President directly. So this was elevated to the President, went all the way to the top. And so I very much appreciate her advocacy on this and how she really stepped up for the City of New Orleans in a big way. I'm one of those people that to get something big done for the City of New Orleans, I'll call whoever I need to, and I'll bring in whatever advocates I need to. And for this one in particular, I really do believe that Mrs. Benson is the one who brought it over the finish line for us. So with that, I want to turn it over to Steve Nelson. He can give you more details about what the extension calls for. And then also, of course, I know you all are wondering, like, what projects come next and what parts of the city will be seeing some of these projects. So I'll turn it over to Steve.
Excellent. Madam Mayor, thank you very much. Thank you all for being here, and echo those thanks to the whole team from FEMA to our delegation, and for the team that I've got with myself, Ryan Donegan and his group put all those schedules together, and they've done a really good job along with the contractor community of developing schedules that are real, schedules that have real background and backbone in them, so that we can not just provide this information, but also make the construction process as unobtrusive as possible. It's a lot of work, but these are the tools that will allow us to deliver. And $500 million over 400 blocks worth of work, and this extension that's going to take us through June 2nd of 2028 allows us to really focus on being able to deliver the program. One of the challenges with the shorter extensions is that we have to think in 6 months increments. Now we can really execute the plan that's laid out for us to be able to do the work across the city. There is work that is coming up and ongoing as part of this program in all of the council districts in the City of New Orleans, and this will be the completion of over $1.5 billion worth of funding from this settlement. So this will be the last chapter in the Katrina recovery, and it's something that we're really, really excited to see happen today, and really looking forward to bringing it home.
And then remember that the types of projects that we're talking about, and I know that we think about them as street repairs, but they're really from top to bottom, meaning that everything under the surface is also repaired, which means the drainage underneath, the pipes underneath, and then all the way to the top, the street level. And if we wouldn't have received this extension, that would have meant that come on June 30th, we would have had to close up projects that are ongoing now, and then we would have had to try to figure out other means to try to cover the remaining projects that would be in the queue, which meant that we would have to potentially divert bond dollars. There would have been significant issues and consequences if we did not receive this extension. So this is really big news on a Friday, and overall a very big win for the city of New Orleans. And I would argue that ultimately a big win for the state of Louisiana as well. All right, with that, I'll take any questions, and any technical ones I'll send over to Steve.
Sure. If I recall correctly, this started back in like 2018, so this will be a decade worth of work. We talked to some people down in Lower Decatur
Yeah.
Street who were very frustrated by the delays. Will this extension help with any of that? You kind of mentioned working on an extended timeline rather than the 6 months. Can you speak directly to that project and how it will help with that?
Yeah, so that project is actually a Sewerage and Water Board project that's known as TM10, and that is under a separate project worksheet. So that is separate from this extension, but the extension that we received from FEMA did leave the door open for further negotiations and discussion, and I'm sure that will help the project go to completion. We know that one is very high visibility and really needs to get done.
Is that something that you're working toward, getting that, you said there's a door open, getting some?
In part of the extension letter, which I know will be included as part of the press release, there will have to be some reporting requirements, and we look forward to continuing to discuss that option with FEMA.
But that doesn't have to do with the French Quarter project.
Yeah, that's,
That was my question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Separate.
All right.
French Quarter is a separate type of
Yes.
project. Yep.
Okay.
But I will say this, I mean, the JIR projects that still remain, whether it's ongoing work right now or work that will soon begin, it really goes through the entire city. All 5 council districts are impacted by the projects that will be ongoing.
Are all JIR projects, are they all currently underway, or are there some that still need to be broken ground on?
Well, I'll let you answer the
Oh, no, no.
question.
so all of the remaining work, all of the remaining 7 no-fogs are under construction currently,
Okay, so they're all underway.
all underway.
And can you give us just maybe a general idea of like, just anticipated completion dates? They're not all expected to be done in 28, right? Like, do you have any kind of breakdown?
So, yes, we do have some very detailed schedules. Actually, the presentation that we made at the Department of Public Works Committee meeting had some really good schedule information that showed, so this year and next year are really heavy construction schedules, and as we get towards the end of 27, we'll start to see those no-fogs get fully completed.
And what about other FEMA, we already talked about French Quarter, but municipal auditorium and other FEMA projects, any word on those or any expectation for those?
I think the letter I alluded to, the letter leaves some of that open for further discussion. Again, FEMA's has been very cooperative, as we see with this current extension, so we look forward to having some additional conversations about the extensions on those projects next week.
And the reason why he says next week is that we actually have some folks from FEMA headquarters coming into New Orleans next week, and Steve and I will be meeting with them. I'll be speaking with them next week. Yep. Okay.
How do you decide which projects take priority? Like which ones are more pressing and which ones can be sort of waited on?
Well, the good thing is that that schedule had been laid out long ago. And so that schedule, I don't know exactly how it was all prioritized. And so now we're left with kind of like the rest of the work that still has to be done. And I can tell you that over the past 10 years, roughly about 90% of the work has been completed. So really, this is just that last chunk that needed to be done. But as I mentioned, work will be happening throughout the city of New Orleans in all different neighborhoods. Anybody else?
Any conditions, just reporting requirements or?
Yeah, well, you can take that one. It's on,
Yes.
partly it's in the letter.
Yeah, so the letter's got that all spelled out. It starts with an audit, so FEMA will be looking at a third-party audit of financial expenditures to date. That's not necessarily surprising. We would have to go through an audit no matter what the conditions are. That's part of the federal grant process. And then there's also some reporting requirements for the state that they will be looking at for a management plan. But it's nothing too heavy for us.
Does the audit need to be completed before the funds are released?
No. This is just something in parallel. And I think part of this is so that we can close the projects out sooner. That's one of the keys in the letter is the construction completion June 2nd of 2028. But the federal government's asking for a closeout of the program by the end of November of 2028 as well.
Is it like just a general audit, or are they seeking any particular information from this audit?
There's some conditions in there around the expenditures on the construction. I don't know that they're looking at anything specific, but they just want to make sure the dollars are spent correctly, which GOSEP and the city are looking at on a real-time basis already.
Is your visit with FEMA next week for this, or is it for something, can we know what?
Yeah, so, sure. So FEMA folks were already coming in to have a variety of different discussions around emergency preparedness, hurricane preps, and things like that. And so they'll be in town for a couple of days. Steve will be having several meetings with them. I'll be having a couple of meetings with them. And obviously, some folks from Region 6 and GOSEP will be part of that as well. All right? All right, thank you all so much for coming on last minute notice on a Friday. Thank y'all.